Shabbat Shalom to everybody, and welcome again on this Saturday, this Shabbat, to our message to First Yahudin Messianic Temple here in Lake Placid, Florida. I am his servant, Maria Simpson, and I hope everybody out there that is listening to this message today, that something wonderful is happening in your life, or that you're curious for something new and wonderful to happen in your life, or that you're happy that you have received your goals and you have achieved them. I thank you for being here with me, because today I'm going to do things a little different. It's good to change. It's good to evolve. It's good to not to go with the flow, but it's really good to go with the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. Today's message is titled, The Turning Point in Your Life. What is a turning point? A turning point in your life is a place of a higher level in your life. It's a place that is very hard to be in, because when you come to your turning point, there's a lot of pain. It's very lonely. You feel like there's nobody there to help you, and really it's not for them anybody to help you. It's because there's a transformation and there's a shifting in your life. This is a place that everything in your life changes for the better. And if you are ready, it will show up in your life at the right time, the right location, the right situation, and the right second. Turning point is a time that something new is about to show up in your life. There's a direction, there's a shifting, just like the wind on the spirit, the stars, the planets. You see, turning points contains a message from you to you. What do I mean? Let's picture for a second that you're in a maze. A maze really has a lot of walls and a lot of turns, and there's only one entrance and there's only one exit. And when you're in this maze, there's nobody else around you, just yourself. And it's very hard to find the exit. Why is that? Because until you come to that turning point in your life, that you just stand still and really reflect on everything in your life. What is real, what is not? Am I in the right place? Am I in the wrong place? Is this relationship good? What's happening in my life? Why am I suffering? Why am I going? There's a lot of whys and if, and a lot of whys and if, and a lot of whys and if. But when you come to that turning point, it's that point that you are in a crossroad. You're really not looking to your right or your left. You really have to keep on going. And it hurts, because from you to get to the exit, right now you're suffering. You're going through things that you don't understand. Where is God? What's happening to me? Why am I in this situation? What's going on? Well, that turning point is a point that you're going to something higher than who you are. And that turning point is a point that you are going to leave a lot of things behind, and you're going to start with something new. I can relate this with the seasons. There's 4 seasons, and in the seasons, there are 4 turning points. Turning points in the seasons is when, let's suppose, fall is here. When fall is about to leave, there's a 2 turning point that winter's coming. So now fall leaves, and now what enters is winter. Then you have spring and summer, and it goes on and on. And we go through different turning points. Now, have you been asking yourself lately, where am I going with life? What am I doing? You know, it's amazing that I really did not understand a long time ago what it meant to love yourself. I really thought that loving yourself really meant that some kind of pride, you know, like your pride, your ego. And really, I have found out the hard way that it's not. We live our lives constantly pleasing every single human being, people that we love, things that we love, but not pleasing ourselves. And when you come to that turning point in your life, you stop doing that. You really stop living for others, and you begin to live for yourself. And the reality is, you get to know who you are, what you want, where you're headed for, what pleases you, where is your happiness? We need to check ourselves. When was the last time you sat in a table with people you loved, friends, family, people you loved, that you had so much fun with, and you left your cell in your bedroom? When was the last time you did that? That when you were sitting, you came to yourself and you were having such a good time and you were not bothered by the cell. When was the last time you sat in a park and watched children play? When was the last time you saw the sunrise? When was the last time you took your shoes off, whether it's walking on cement or walking on grass? When was the last time you did that? Turning points are points that you've forgotten. What is your soul hungry for? Yesterday I was looking at, because I'm from the 70s and the 60s and 70s, and I was listening to music, and I would say, wow, and I was, in my era there was the disco, John Travolta and so on. And you see how at that time I used to have fun. I used to dance, and I used to sing. And I wasn't so preoccupied with whatever the cell, electronic. I forgot to be me. Turning point is really finding yourself. And when you're in a turning point, you begin to think of old habits. That's called yourself. You begin to look at yourself. See, because people make yourself. But at the turning point, the real you shows up. Yourself is old habits. The real you is new habits. The yourself is other makes you, false beliefs, false hopes. You become a puppet for others. You live in fear. You're insecure. You have a victim mentality. You are very negative. Not knowing what you want. You are a slave, and you are in chains and shackles because you haven't found who you are. In other words, the real you has not awakened because it has been asleep. And what you're doing, and when this turning point in the maze, you begin to remove yourself, and the real you begins to come up. You begin to awaken to new lighting, to new way of thinking, to new way of talking, to new way of believing, to new way of doing what really makes you happy. This is the turning point that everything changes in your life. This is the mystery. The self within you, of yourself, is to come out of the maze. Have you ever seen a maze, what it looks like? Everyone has dreams, have goals. We all have desires, everybody different ways. But only a few really achieve them. In your turning point, it's a turning point that literally you go from being a caterpillar in the cocoon and you're struggling to come out and become a butterfly. And the sad thing is, in this turning point, in this cocoon, no one can help you. Not even God. This is really where you find yourself. This is really where you really find Him. This is really, you come to this place, and most of the time you come in this place, you're either dying, you're hurting, you're in pain, you're lonely, you're insecure, you have fears. This is a place that it hurts so bad that you really don't know what's happening in your life. And you feel that everyone has abandoned you. At times, you even at this point, you think that even God, Elohim, has abandoned you. And the truth of the fact is that He has not. Because in this turning point, what He is doing, He is calling you to heaven. What does that mean? That you're dying? No. He's calling you to a higher level, a spiritual life. A spiritual growth. He's calling you to somewhere where you have not been yet. His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are His ways than our ways. When you are in this turning point, you are very lonely. You are in a place that you are very lonely. You are very alone. You are very lonely. And what happens is you begin to create and enter a maze that you're entering. Because now you got to find your way out of the maze to come out of where you're at. Blessed is he who gets out of his own personal maze once and for all. Once and for all. I like the idea of being able to enter into a maze and then having to find myself. Myself. The problem today that people are having is not finding who they are. See, we think that is finding ourselves if we have a career, if we have the right relationship, if we have the right family, if we worship the Most High, if we do a lot of things that we are normally want in our lives. But that's not when we find ourselves. That is not when you come to your turning point. Those are things that we do in life. When you come to yourself, when you at that point, that turning point, you literally begin to love who you are. Whether you're fat, you're skinny, you're tall, you're black, you're white, you're Indian, you whatever it is. Blue eyes, green eyes, brown eyes, curly hair, afro, bald-headed, whatever it is, you begin to love who you are. Because we have been living our lives always want to be accepted so people can love us and love us and love us. But when you come to this turning point, nobody's around. Even people that said they loved you, even your family member, even your own children are not around. Because this is a turning point that you need to go into the wilderness and you need to find yourself because you lost yourself. When you disconnect, see, the problem is when we disconnect from people, we disconnect from Yahweh. We disconnect when sitting in that table and having a good time. We disconnect what real life is all about. We disconnect from love. We disconnect from joy. We disconnect from happiness. And then constantly we go through life trying to find something in other people, and they don't have it because they cannot have it because you don't have it either. And you cannot get what you don't have. But when you do come to this maze, this turning point, you can't sleep. You're stressed out. You're hurting. You're in pain. You don't understand. There's nobody around. You cannot see it. You cannot hear it. There's not. But you know there's something. There's something there waiting for you. You don't know what it is. You feel like this is the end of the world and I'm dying and that's it. That's it. There's nothing else. And it's none of the above. You have been in the potter's wheel. You are being molded. You are being shaped. He's removing. He's putting in. He's taking away. And see, when he takes away, it hurts a lot because taking away means there's nobody around you. It's just you and that problem. Because Israel, when they were about to enter the promised land, they no longer had the pillar of fire. They no longer had the pillar of cloud. They no longer had the rock of water. They said, you're going in on your own, buddy. And it's up to you to make your life the way it should, the right way. What happened? They disconnected. Yahweh took that away because he's trying them. That's what happens in their turn. He's trying you. What happened with Israel? They started disconnecting to Yahweh, and they started connecting to paganism. They started connecting to witchcraft. They started connected to hatred. They started connected to things that is not good. See, I'm about to say something to you, and I do believe what I'm going to tell you. Whether you believe it or not, it's okay. But I do believe what I'm going to tell you. I truly believe that before we were sent here to this earth, before we came out of our mother's womb, and before we came out of the seed of our father, we were angels. We were spiritual beings. And he sent us here on a mission. Besides to worship him, because we need to worship and connect to him, we need to multiply, because multiply in the sense of more. Let's create more more clones, more babies. But you've done all this in your life, but there's something missing in your life. We were sent here to get married. We were sent here to connect. We were sent to bring the word. We were sent here for a purpose. And everyone has a purpose here on this earth. And when that purpose is not being met, you are empty. Something is missing in your life. You can call it Yahweh, you can call it love, you can call it higher power, you can call it whatever you want. But it really doesn't come from us. It comes from Him. You have the best relationship. You have a tremendous career. You got to school. Your family is bam, bada, bam, 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 bam. It's awesome. But you're still empty. And the reason you're empty is because you are not getting filled with what you need to fill that void that is inside your soul. Your soul is hungry. Your soul is desperate. Your soul most of the time cannot sleep. There's something missing. You cannot pinpoint. There's something missing. And what's missing is two things. Is being connected to Yahweh and finding who you are. Connect to yourself and connect to Him. Because He is the source of everything. To come out of the maze, you must become a master at visualization. Learn this and your whole life will change. You need to be a master of visualizing. Reprogramming your brain starts with visualizing. You're at the maze. You're at your turning point. You are at the crossroad. You don't know what to do. Close your eyes. And begin to visualize, where do you want to go? Because when you visualize, it's so key to come to achieve whatever it is that we choose for ourselves. Most of us suffer in our lives due to the fact that subconsciously we visualize a very negative life for ourselves. And thus we end up making our life miserable. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Greatness starts with awareness. The second stage is acceptance. You must accept who you are. Who you have to accept yourself. You have to love who you are. Well, if I lose 50 pounds, I will love myself and I will accept myself. Honey, you can lose 50 pounds. You can even lose 100 pounds and you still will not accept yourself. Because it's not how much fat you have or how many bones you have or what color of hair you have. It is a mind thing of believing and accepting who you are. The third stage of visualization is called developing action. A friend of mine she put here, walk more in love. I guess not. My husband says no, so I'm not going to do it. Listen very carefully. When we disconnect from the source of life, which is God, Elohim, we lose ourselves. When we disconnect from ourselves, we get lost. And constantly we go around life trying to connect again the way we were in heaven. And the reason I believe that we were angels before is because the Bible says that before the foundations of the world, He knew us. And that we didn't choose Him. He chose us to come here. He's the one that chose our family, our mother, our father. He be born in, and he has given us a choice to choose to accept him as our Father in heaven. As you go in life and you connect to him, you connect to love, you connect with joy, you connect with happiness, you connect with peace.
Well, life.
You connect with life. You begin to love who you are, understand where you came from, and nothing will be impossible for you because now there's a connection. Without that connection, you cannot come out of your turning point. Nobody, no one, I don't care who it is, cannot make you happy without. Let me say that. Nobody can make you happy because happiness is inside of you. And if you are not happy, then you cannot be happy with anybody because you're miserable. And what you are going to attract is misery.
His kind goes to his kind.
Because my husband says his kind goes to his kind. All turning points involve turning away from the path and towards another. And the perfect example, we cannot go that far, is Yeshua. Yeshua, when he was being whipped, the beard, they were pulling his beard, they put the crown of thorns. They were really whipping him. I mean, really to the point that I don't think there's no human being that can stand there. His disciples were not around because that was a turning point in his life. And when he got nailed on that wood, where were all his disciples? Where were all the disciples that said, oh yeah, we're the bomb, oh yeah. Because in your turning point, your friends are not around. Your family is not around. Your children are not around. It is you and that problem.
They were in Starbucks having coffee.
I'm sorry?
They were in Starbucks having coffee.
My husband says they were in Starbucks having coffee.
And donuts.
or Dunkin' Donuts. To get out of that turning point, what needs to change first is your mind. Because at that moment, what happens in that second, you begin to ask yourself a lot of questions. What am I doing here? Why is my heart going so fast? Why has I been living lately in this stressful? I cannot deal with this. You will cry at that moment. As a matter of fact, you can even, I'm being very honest with this, you can even be in your deathbed. It doesn't mean you're going to die.
Yeah.
And maybe somebody you love is, and you're going through things that you don't understand. And why isn't anybody calling me and telling me, hey, can I help you? Can I be with you? And this is anybody. Because see, this happened to me last year, 2018. In April, when my husband was dying, literally he was dying from a bite that something bit him, a fever very high, and I say this all the time, a fever very high that would not go down. His blood pressure was like, what, 80? Felt like sleeping a lot, the fever would not go down. 10 days I spent without sleeping. I felt there were demons, I'm not kidding, I felt so bad. I said, where's my daughters? They live far from here. Everybody was praying, and I thank for that. But there was something that I needed to go through, and I didn't know. I was angry. I was stressed out. I was overworked, underpaid. Everything was happening to me. And I never ever had gone through anything like this in my life. I had turning points, but not that this severe. And then, of course, I saw that, that verse in the Bible in the wall of the hospital. And it changed everything in my life. From that moment to here, which is today, we're in 2019, February. My life is not the same. I don't speak the same. I don't believe the same. I don't walk the same. I don't eat the same. It's better. It's better. Not understanding what was happening, it wasn't my husband, it was that I needed to go through that to come to where I am today. And I'm going to tell you, I love myself today more than ever in my life. I love life more than ever in my life. I connect with what? I connect with nature. I connect with Yahweh like never before. I connect with my family like never before. I connect with you like never before. Because this is who I am. See, when you find the purpose that He has sent you here in this earth, you will stop searching. Because everybody has a purpose here in this earth. And the reason we get so happy when somebody loves us, when we are in a group of people that are happy and joyous, is because it reminds us, even though at that moment we don't know, but it reminds us when we were in heaven. Because in heaven there is no misery. In heaven there's no sickness and there's no diseases. And when there's a group or a person that tells you really out of their heart they love you and they care for you, what you're doing is you're connecting to the source of life, which is Yahweh, which is love. And that is the biggest strength you can have. In this turning point, let me tell you what happens. You might even have diarrhea. I'm not kidding. You might have diarrhea. I mean, your ears are probably all full of wax. Your nose is probably dirty. I'm not kidding. I'm serious what I'm saying. And guess why? Because you're being cleansed. You're being purified. Your old self is leaving. And now there's a renew you. There's an awakening inside of you that you didn't have before. And what that is awakening, it is a light that comes from heaven. And He's calling you. He is calling you. Not calling you because you're going to die. He's calling you to a higher dimension. A higher dimension of life, a higher dimension of spirit, a higher dimension of love, a higher dimension of glory, a higher dimension of happiness. Your true self will keep on pushing you. And you are what the one that's fighting this in this inner and this turning point is between yourself and the real you. Nobody else. Yourself and the real you. See, yourself has been programmed by everybody in your life in the past. Your family, your family, your mother, your dad, your friends, your teachers, churches, leaders. But now the one that's fighting in this point, in this maze, is yourself and the real you.
Say that sentence again.
Excuse me?
That last sentence. The one that's fighting or fighting?
The one that's struggling.
Okay.
Let me say it again. Let me give you a symbolic meaning of that. The one that's struggling inside the maze is you changing from a worm or a caterpillar to a butterfly. And from that butterfly, you will change in another time from that butterfly into an eagle. It is amazing. See, a caterpillar in a cocoon, no one can help them because they will die. A caterpillar has to struggle and struggle and struggle to come out. This is what happens to us in the maze, in the turning point. You keep on pushing and pushing and struggling because what's happening here is it is giving you a coded message from yourself to yourself. If you unlock its mysteries, it will reveal a challenge you are constantly giving to yourself with both failures and successes. Once you begin to come honest, really honest with yourself about your life and affairs, no matter how painful the recognition might be in the moment, it marks a turning point in your life.
Yeah.
A turning point where you begin to see things more clearly and are more willing to see things more clearly, to be more honest with yourself about your engagements with people and about your plans and goals, and even eventually about your fundamental beliefs, which are rarely questioned honestly. Listen very carefully, because you can have the most beautiful life there is. Beautiful relationship, you have a lovely family, beautiful home. Even if your work was meaningful in some way, which is seldom the case, if you were not finding that which is your purpose, what's happening to you is that your soul is starving.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You will be suffering on the inside. You will congratulate yourself and allow others to congratulate you. But on the inside, you are frightened and unfulfilled. This is called the turning point. You are tired. This is a place that you're going to say this. I am tired of suffering. I am tired of false idea. I am tired of striving for that which cannot satisfy me. I am tired of debts. I am tired of this bad relationship. I am tired of being more than tired of being more than tired. Perhaps in the moments of despair, of self-doubt, you begin to ask yourself, what is the truth about life? You ask it not to say, like, okay, what's the truth? No. But to negotiate with the truth, but simply because you need it for your heart and your soul. If I ask you what percentage of your life do you dedicate to everyone around you and you're not happy?
You won't be.
That's why you're grumpy. That's why you're insecure. That's why you're angry. That's why you don't love who you are, because you're constantly satisfying everybody and you're not satisfying yourself.
Oh.
What are you hungry for? We all crave things in life. But have you ever stopped to think, what are you really hungry for? Now, we're going to do a little test. I told you we're going to do things a little different here.
All right. We didn't have time to
Are
study.
you ready for this?
We didn't study.
If your goal is to improve yourself, I want you to visualize what your life looks like and how you are going to feel about yourself. Okay. When you do this, I don't want you to have your eyes open. I literally want you to have your eyes closed. I want you to close your eyes, all of you. Close your eyes. I know it sounds crazy, but you need to do this exercise. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you in your mind have a specific picture of what it looks like in your life when your self-worth was improved. Now, keep your eyes closed. You're going to see yourself speaking up at work, at home, situations like never before. You're going to see yourself talking more about your business, your goals, your dreams, and what makes you happy. You're going to see yourself leaving a bad relationship. You're going to see yourself defining boundaries. You're going to see yourself going to the gym, losing weight, feeling better about yourself. You're going to see yourself taking care of yourself when you start to visualize the image of that. Think of the positive emotions that you are going to feel. And please, I really want you to have your eyes closed. Now, your self-worth, you're trying to build your self-worth. Now, in your mind, this is what you are going to say. You're going to see, I am going to feel happy, because you're visualizing it. I am going to feel proud of who I am. I am going to stand taller. I am going to be grateful that I made this change. Keep it like this. It is so easy for life to take over. We spend our time juggling jobs, family, and homes. We put other people's needs before our own. Our days can seem repeated routine as we follow the clock and follow the schedule. Sometimes we give so much of ourselves that we become empty because we disconnected from ourselves. And out of men and women, they both do it, but women do it more than men. Just think of what I'm saying. Keep your eyes closed. We lose ourselves. We don't know who we are anymore or what we want. We start to believe we aren't good enough, that we're not thin enough, not tone enough, not this enough, not that enough. You see, deep down inside, we have fallen out of love with ourselves, with our Maker, and disconnected from our soul, our truth, and the source of life, which is Yahweh. Replacing love with judgment. We do this in our lives. And criticism. Perhaps even hatred. And why do I say this? Because I've been there where you are at. You can open your eyes. Visualization is when you go to your bathroom mirror, big mirror, and you begin to see yourself and you say, oh, there I am. You begin and you begin to say, in the mirror, you begin to visualize, I am sharing my idea. There I am. I am getting a promotion, asking for a raise. There I am. I have gone back to school. There I am. I feel so good about myself. There I am. When you do that, here is what actually is happening in your brain. You are training your brain to have a totally different pattern of yourself. Mm-hmm. Your brain does not know the difference between the bad things that actually happen to you. Like, you cut class or you had an F, throw it in the bag, or the real memories that you have had, imagined memory that you are creating. The brain cannot tell the difference. Mm-hmm. Your brain will experience your visualizing of how happy you feel when you do. You're visualizing asking for that raise and getting it, and how proud you are, and how you are going to feel. The more you visualize things, the more confidence you are going to be. The greater security you are going to have about it. Here is the amazing thing. The more you do this with your goal, you will wake up every day and you will visualize it. And it only takes, guess how long? 30 seconds. Is that a lot of times to invest in your happiness? 30 seconds?
You could do it right when you get to work, sit in the parking lot for 30 seconds.
But when you do this, because the sister here is saying that you do this in the parking lot, you cannot think about anything else. You cannot think about that you're going to start working. You're going to think the phone is ringing. You need to do this visualizing yourself doing this. 30 seconds. You visualize having a great day at school. You visualize killing your panic attacks. You visualize killing your stress mode. And how proud you are of going to be. Now listen very carefully. I really did not know what it was about to be me before my children, before my business, before my marriage, before my belief in religion. As a matter of fact, even before I was born. Because the only time that really I was me is when I was in my mother's womb. And from my mother's womb, I really became who I was, and I learned who I was in my turning point last year, 2018. Until a year ago, in my turning point, I found myself like never before in the maze, and I came out. Today, I love myself more than ever in my life. Yeah, I gotta lose a couple of pounds, and yeah, maybe I can color my hair. I can't because I'm allergic. But even if I was bald-headed, I still love myself.
Yeah.
Even if my head was pointy like the cone heads, I will love myself.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I found my purpose. I know who I am. I connected exactly, listen very carefully, exactly, I connected back to love. I connected to who I was, to Him. And since then, everything that I touch flourished. I didn't remember who I used to be or who I was, and I realized that was a problem in my life. That's why you're here today. Because maybe some of you are in that maze, maybe you're in that turning point.
Yeah.
And see, maybe some of you, you think that maybe having $100,000 in the bank, that's my happiness. No. Oh, maybe I got this relationship. No, that's not your happiness. No. Oh, I have a team of children. In other words, I have, 12? I got 12 children. I'm so happy. No.
Yeah. Right, that's true.
Oh, I'm married with Tarzan. That Tarzan is not your happiness. You are. I found that in my life.
Wow. Yeah.
And let me tell you what happens. You want to hear this? And I'm speaking from experience. I love myself so much to the point that if it wasn't for that, I cannot love you the way it should. I love myself so much because He, Elohim, God, gave me that love. But see, now I live for Him and I live for me. I don't live for others. I really don't. Even though I do, but not the same way. Because when you come to yourself, what happens is you come to the real you. How you were formed in the womb of your mother. By Him, by His hands. And nothing bothers you. Because you go back into the matrix. You go back into the womb. The way you talk, the way you do that, you feel so confident, and you want to give this to everybody. But not everybody's ready. Because a lot of people are going to look at you and they're going to envy you. They're going to put jealous in you. They're going to say, "Oh, you're crazy." What do you mean they used to be an angel? And yeah, and let me tell you, I was an angel and I wasn't second class. I was first class.
Angel
High
sucking.
ranking.
Angel sucking.
I was not I was not a low-ranking angel. Very high-ranking.
I was right there next to the throne.
And when you find out who you are, the only thing you give to people is love.
Amen.
And let me tell you,
Right there at the
some of you believe it, some of you don't. That's okay. But I'm telling you, I do believe that. When did I stop being worthy of my own time and space? When did I stop being me? I'm not here to fix you. I'm not here to fix you. But I'm here to help you overcome whatever you believe is holding you back from stepping into your fullest power and potential. It could be anything. It could be anxiety, stress, phobias, insomnia, self-esteem, self-belief, self-doubts, fear of public speaking, fear of flying. Unfortunately, we allow the doubts and the fears to hold us back as we believe them. And how can you help you with this? Well, because I am a life coach, and this is what I do. And if some of you want my number, it is 863-243-1616. And this is in Lake Placid, Florida. And what happens here, we neglect ourselves. We put ourselves last. We forgot how important we really are. And the way we find ourselves is craving and needing something to fill the empty void inside of us. Women, what they do, they either start drinking wine or chocolate or food, or maybe they go on a shopping spree to fill that void.
That's so true. Can you repeat that again?
And how is the way that we find ourselves? We find ourselves craving and needing something to fill that empty space, that empty void. Something is missing in our lives. For women go a lot, they go shopping, shopping spree. They wine, chocolate, food, perhaps even all of them. For men, maybe it's buying toys and buying equipment and buying this and who knows what. I have no idea because I'm not a man.
We've got a goodwill.
So how do we make sure that we are not missing in our own lives? See, when we do all these things, that something is missing is when we disconnected from ourselves and we disconnected from Him.
That's the key right there.
So we go around and a lot of times even, you begin to sleep around with other different men or different women because you think that that's going to be the last Coca-Cola in your life, and you cannot live without this. And that's not true. Because what's missing and is empty in your life is your soul, it's not your body. Because if sex was the answer to many things, then why so many relationships are so miserable?
Very true.
It's not the two pieces of the puzzles that are missing. because the puzzles go together. You see what I'm saying? What I'm doing? What's missing is not the two pieces going together. What's missing is what's inside of each other, that is love, that is not being fulfilled. We become connected to things that are wrong. So how do we make sure that we are not missing in our own lives? Did you know that you're missing and you cannot find yourself? How do we make sure that we don't give away so much of ourselves that there's nothing left to give? You can fill your stomach with any type of wine, with any type of food, with whatever you want. But what really, 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 really needs to be filled is our spirit, our soul, to be fulfilled in the dreams and the goals that we desire in life, the purpose that we came here for. We give credit because now, I'm a hairdresser and I got my license to burn somebody's hair. I don't know. I'm a licensed hairdresser. I got a license to be a lawyer. I got a license. But that's just the title. But that's not who we are. That is not our purpose in life. How do you begin to walk in unconditional love with ourselves and others? I want you to help by start falling back in love with yourself. All of you. I'm not just talking about lumps, bumps, and wobbly beats, although that's very important. It's more than that. It is about reconnecting to your soul level. This is where you are in the turning point that the heaven is calling you. He's calling you higher levels in your soul. Falling in love with who you really are, removing the mask and stepping away from the stories and reconnecting with your soul. When you visualize, what you're doing is, it helps you build skill. You are reprogramming your brain and changing the network of neurons that are there and acting as a filter. The more that you actually believe in yourself and you start thinking of visualizing yourself, speaking of, and you're going to be more confident. You are going to become more confident. The more skill that you are building and you are actually going to do it, and then instead of looking for all the reasons when you are sitting and meeting, in a meeting, you are sitting with people you love, you're not just going to say, no, you're going to speak up. Because that is the pattern that you visualize when you want it to come out of the maze. You are going to look for opportunities. This is how it works. This is so incredibly important when you visualize. Now, picture yourself, close your eyes. Close your eyes. I want you to close your eyes. How does it feel to go back into your bank account, and you have achieved your monetary achievement? How does it feel to go back and see the balance? How does it feel to be able to write that check and take your kids to Disney World on the money that you made? How does it feel to be able to write your own plays, your own book, and put down a down payment on the house that you always dreamed of? How does it feel to be able to save enough money so that you can quit the job that you hate and start the business because you have achieved your goals. Open your eyes. I want you to just taste that because you are doing, when you visualize, is you are reprogramming, activating your brain system. It is spotting opportunities so that it can helping you to evidence, and you are confident that you are capable, that you can do this instead of all the garbage that you think about now. Knowing who you really are, what are you really hungry for, what makes you come alive, what makes your soul sing. If you visualize right now your happiness and how good it makes you feel, this is what it did to me last year. I'm coming home. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I'm coming home. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I don't know how it goes, but I'm going to say it with Diana Ross. This is her song. There's a new me coming out, and I just had to live, and I want to give. I'm completely positive. I think this time around I'm going to do it like you never do it, like you never knew it. Oh, I'll make it through. The time has come for me to break out the shell. I have to shout that I am coming out. I am coming out. I am coming to the purpose that He has given me. I am coming with confidence. I am coming with glory. I am coming with happiness, because greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. And if He has called me to great things, then I am from the divine. And since I am from the divine, then great things are coming for me, around me, on top of me, in back of me. And let me tell you, they're running after me, because I am not calling them anymore. They're running after me. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
That's right.
And then, Sylvester, I feel good. I feel good. You know why? We need to come back to singing and dancing and shouting and doing what makes you happy. Instead of every single time looking, oh, did that somebody call me in the cell? Is somebody, let me see what happened. What's happening in the politics? What's happening in the world? What's happening? But really you should be saying, what's happening to me?
What's happening in my life?
That's right.
What's happening to me?
That's right.
Wow.
In the maze, it's like Gloria Gaynor said, I was afraid. I was petrified. Kept thinking that I could never live without you by my side. And who was that? Yourself. But the real you is now singing. At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by myself. But then I spent so many nights thinking, how did you did me wrong? This is my real me talking to myself. I grew up strong, and now I learn how to get along, so you're back from outer space. Can you imagine? Now the real you came from outer space, because it came from heaven, because there's an awakening inside of me. It's an awakening that heaven is calling me to go to higher levels of knowledge, higher level of life, higher level of love, higher level of happiness, higher level, because that is our purpose here in this world. One of the sisters last week, she goes, you know what, Maria? You scream a lot, but I like it. That's who I am. That's who I am.
I was just thinking about that. Wow.
And you know what she said?
Yeah.
And I said it too. I will survive. If you think back When was the last time you just sat down and enjoyed what you were doing instead of thinking what you were going to do in next day or an hour? Just you're in the present moment. When was the last time you did that? Well, you know, as soon as this is over, I'm going to get the TV or I'm going to go outside. The moment is the real you.
I gotta do laundry.
And then for the fellas, when you begin to sing to the lady in your life, and you begin to sing what Casey and the Sunshine Band said, I'm your boogeyman, that's what I am. I'm here to give you whatever I can, be in early morning, late afternoon, or at midnight. It's never too soon to want to be with you, to want to please you, to want to be your rubber ball. I want to be the one you love most of all. Oh yeah, I'm your boogeyman. I'm your boogeyman. Turn me on. I'm your boogeyman, and do what you want. Why am I saying all these songs? Because we need to go back to the basics of singing when you want to sing, of laughing when you want to laugh, of smiling when you want to smile. And this one is exactly what happens when the real you comes up. You want to hear this one? Mm-hmm. Patrick Hernandez, Born to be Alive. It is good to be alive. We were born to be alive. We were born to be alive. It is good to be alive. When you come to the real you, you come and you understand the importance and the beauty and the sunshine and the glory and how happiness and what life is all about. You begin to live life like never before in your life. You begin to show your teeth more. You begin to smile more. You begin to wink. You begin to hug more. You begin to love more. You begin to love life. Living your life on purpose rather than see it pass by. Having more fun, enjoyment, and rather than feeling like you just exist on a boring hamster wheel. Okay? From day to day. Look at your life. A week ago, don't you do the same repetitions every day? Then that means that the hamster, you become a hamster in the wheel. The same thing. Get off the wheel. Get off the wheel. Be different. Be different. Imagine feeling more confident, sexy, alive than ever before. I'm going to leave with this. There's a new you, the real you, ready to be emerged from that turning point of your cocoon. He or she just needs to be influenced by a gentle persuasion, a flattery, and love again unconditionally. The real you who knows what he or she wants. The real you who makes time for himself or herself. The real you who takes care of his or her body and nourishes his or her soul. The real you who no longer puts himself or herself at the bottom of his or her priority list. The real you who makes space in his or her own life for himself or herself. He is or she is there inside of you. Maybe you are quiet enough today. You hear him or her whispering to you. Reality is, what is your soul hungry for? Being aware of this answer is incredibly powerful, and then you can do something about visualizing. Is such a powerful tool. If you visualize strongly enough, It activates the network activating system in your brain and helps you focus on making the visualization a reality.
Virtual reality.
Until next time, Shabbat Shalom from First Yahudin.